Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here today to talk again about the Boruto manga. Yo, I know you were watching the video before. Don't worry, you're going to get back to that video. There's a quick intermission. I just want to let you guys know that my independent series, that's right, my series, Next Gen, is out. If you would like to read it, I would gladly appreciate you. You are the number one, my number one fan. I can't believe it. Look at you. Look at you. All you got to do is go to enterhybrid.com. I'll put it, the link is down below or it's on the screen. Either or, you got no other way to it. Head to enterhybrid.com. Start reading Next Gen. It's cheap. In fact, I think the prelude might be free. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's only one way to find out by you clicking the link. So, again, it's a series that I worked on. It's a series that it's my baby, basically. And getting any support for it would be absolutely astronomically a huge dub. So, yeah, head to enterhybrid.com, help your boy out. And with that being said, okay, go back to your other video. So, Boruto's new chapter has been released. And I remember in the last video that I did for Boruto, I was not sure whether I wanted to come back and do another video discussing a chapter because last chapter's content did feel kind of dry. But it's safe to say because I'm here, the content of this chapter is the complete opposite of what I thought about the last chapter. This chapter specifically mainly consists of Boruto fighting with Code. So that's basically what the contents of this chapter are, which you would think just off of that premise alone, it would be less to talk about than last month's chapter. But there was one thing about the last video I did about last month's chapter that I did not talk about in the video, and I was going to edit it in, but I figured they're going to continue it in this chapter, which they did, so I could talk about it here. And that is of Boruto's new jutsu, the Rasengan Uzuhiko. Now, first of all, name, love it. I love the name. Jutsu, love it. I love the jutsu. This jutsu it just feels kind of overpowered. It feels like all off of just on the surface level, the jutsu, if you're like the opponent, doesn't sound that scary. It doesn't really do anything physical to you like that you could see. Like it doesn't like put you in any state like a genjutsu that terrifies you at first. But it's very similar to a genjutsu because this jutsu, which I'm going to be very curious if this is a mix of the Rasengan mixed in with a Shinjutsu or Genjutsu. That's where I'm kind of lying. But it's very similar to a Genjutsu in the sense that Itachi, Sasuke, or one of the Uchihas, basically with their visual prowess, would be able to take you to a different place, make you believe things that are not real, make you think that something is happening. Basically, make you a schizo for like a good minute and make you freak out and just basically ruin your senses, your whatever you have on them. It's all like gone at that moment because your world is completely flipped upside down. And while this is not like a visual thing that Boruto does, it's very similar in the sense that it is a jutsu that uses the properties of the Rasengan, which is the swirl, the swirl of the Rasengan, that Naruto was able to manipulate in his benefit with his wind style. So he was able to adapt and create the Rasengan to be malleable in that sense. So it's cool to see it get more malleable here with Boruto. And it's something that I absolutely love because it sets Boruto apart. Now, one of the things about Boruto's character that set him apart in general and why I never fully gave up on him was his vanishing Rasengan. I always thought that was kind of cool how it was it's kind of like Yuji's Black Flash or like just in general cursed energy. Whenever he throws it, there's like a delay, and it at first it's like, oh, that's weak, but then the delay hits and you're like, oh wait, I can't anticipate his moves. And with Boruto it's kind of similar. When he first popped up and he did try to do the Rasengan, and it looked like it failed completely. Like he threw it and it just dissipated, and you're going like, oh well, that's a failure of a Rasengan. And then it pops back up, hits the opponent, and does massive damage. And that was then when it got coined as the vanishing Rasengan. And it's a cool move, and it's a cool thing that it's kind of like a happy accident that ended up becoming one of his main moves that separates him from Minato and Naruto, which is cool. It also adds on to the lineage of the jutsu, especially now that we know based on Minato's backstory how that jutsu was created from Minato and Kushina, and now it's living on in Boruto. And like I said, he was able to put a new spin on it. And I wish there was, like I said it in the last video, and I'm gonna say it here this month, is I do wish there was a little bit of a flashback here or there. I do kind of miss Kishimoto's flashbacks. I feel like sometimes it does give a lot more context, backstory, sort of little lore into it of him learning this jutsu. How did he learn it? Was it something that Sasuke sort of put in that taught him based on what Sasuke's knowledge is of visual genjutsu, of being able to put somebody into a state like that and being able to impart that on Boruto and maybe changing the Rasengan in that way? Or was this something that Boruto kind of unlocked and Sasuke just helped him complete it and make the jutsu his own? Because like I said, I don't think it's a genjutsu per se. I know there's other ninja that don't have the complete visual prowess that the Uchiha have, and they can they can conform and make a genjutsu their own. So I know that it's possible. So it could very well be a mix of a genjutsu and the Rasengan. That would be cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. But the one thing that makes the most sense right now is it being a shinjutsu. And for people that don't know, maybe they just haven't been paying attention to Boruto, the manga. But to this point, Shinjutsu has been revealed to be basically new jutsu created by the Otsutsuki and used by the Otsutsuki. So it's basically like original jutsu, per se, that later, got dissipated and molded into different forms of jutsu. But the originators are the users of Shinjutsu, like the stuff that Momoshiki does, the stuff that, all the Otsutsuki do, basically Shinjutsu. So same thing with Ida. When she did her thing to make Boruto and Kawaki flip, that was a form of Shinjutsu, something that people have never seen before. And so I'm curious because it would make the most sense if this was a mix of Shinjutsu and the Rasengan to create this thing. But to go deep into the actual jutsu, like what is it? What is the Rasengan Uzuhiko? This jutsu basically uses, like I said, the spinning of the Rasengan that has to spin in two different directions, and it applies that into the earth. And off of just saying that out loud, it sounds pretty dumb, but then when you think about it, it's actually really cool because what it does is basically makes the opponent sort of basically just not physically there after a period of time, and eventually it just kills them because their body is constantly moving. Their body is constantly in the rotation that similar to the earth, similar to the Rasengan. Like the Rasengan seems to be like a mini planet, right? It's a mini thing because it has that rotation, similar to planets that have rotation. This rotation gets put into the opponent and they are in constant motion, and that eventually leads them to just die because like they can't control it, their body can't control it, and their body can't withstand motion within. And so Boruto basically explains it that like that, in layman terms, a little bit better I think in the manga, but basically he gives Code two options, and that was the same options he told them from the last chapter, which was like, take me to the Ten Tails or you die. It's basically that simple. Take me to the Ten Tails, show me where the Ten Tails is at, or you dead. And I like that it's been that simple, and Boruto has not wavered one bit. Not from last chapter, not to this chapter. He has not wavered one bit. He's after one thing and one thing only, and that's to find out where the Ten Tails is at. He warns Code about the Ten Tails last chapter, and he warns Code about his life this chapter because he unleashes the Rasengan Uzuhiko on him, and he basically tells him, like, you're gonna die anyways, so you might as well tell me where the Ten Tails is at. You might as well take me to where the Ten Tails at. You might as well just get this over with, or else you're just gonna die. And obviously, in true villain fashion, Code doesn't agree. He doesn't agree. He decides, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and basically finds a way out because the ending of the chapter happens when Kawaki shows up, and Kawaki throws a blow at Code and subsequently Boruto as well. And because Kawaki showed up, that gave Code enough time to figure out a plot to get out of the situation and basically dip and leave. But what's really cool and what I really want to talk about was Boruto had an ace up his sleeve on top of his new jutsu. So Boruto, I guess can also do the summoning jutsu. How? I guess so. I guess that's also another thing that he learned. And just like his predecessors before in Minato, Jiraiya, Naruto, he can summon toads. And so he has this tiny toad that's like with him and is basically telling him like, oh, like, Like,
like I found, I tracked Kawaki. I know where the Ten Tails is at.
and he shows Boruto where the Ten Tails, and that to confirming that the Ten Tails is alive, that the Ten Tails is there, and that's how the chapter basically ends. Is the Boruto getting that confirmation that Code went back, but also where Code went is where the Ten Tails is. So two cool bits, new jutsu and confirmation that Boruto is basically him right now. Because he could do the summoning jutsu. He now created his own version of the Rasengan on top of the vanishing Rasengan, which obviously he also does, I believe, use lightning style as well, just like Sasuke. There's a lot of stuff up Boruto's arsenal. So I think the allegations of Boruto beating Naruto definitely now seem very much not just allegations but reality. In the sense that where Naruto was at in the same age that Boruto's at, Boruto has leaps and way more techniques than Naruto could use. Granted, I know Naruto has way more chakra probably than Boruto, and Naruto always had Kurama when he was that age as well. So there's that. But without Kurama, without we don't know how much chakra Boruto's reserves is to its limit, but he has a lot of tools. He has a lot. He feels like a good blend of like he really is. He really is Naruto and Sasuke's son. All right, Hinata. Like this is Naruto and Sasuke's son. Okay, this is confirmed. Boruto is Naruto and Sasuke's son. So all the shippers, here you go. But like I said, he's him right now. He really is him. He pulled up at the Leaf Village, told Code what was up, and he didn't waver. He said what he was gonna do, and he did it. He basically like, and without moving too much either, like without laying too much of like he didn't sweat. Like Code was it always under his web. There was no change of the guard, even though I know Code probably thought that when he was like fighting him. He was probably like, "Oh, I got you." And then Boruto reveals what the jutsu was, and it was checkmate after that. So it's cool to see Boruto bring these things out, especially because we know that there's a time skip, and we know, or we get the idea that Sasuke helped Boruto achieve something else, and that being this new jutsu, being able to summon, be able to just maybe up his taijutsu as well. He knows how to use a sword as well. I mean, there's no other way he could know all these things if it wasn't for the thanks and likes of Sasuke. Clearly, Sasuke imparted some wisdom on this kid, and clearly Sasuke was like, "All right, I know Naruto's your dad, but right now I am your daddy." Like he decided to give him and I want to see that. I wish we could see the. I really like the sensei student, like when Jiraiya and Naruto had their moment in Shippuden, or no, pre Shippuden, and then you get flashbacks to what they were doing in between and stuff like that. I want to see that here. I want to see Sasuke teach Boruto what he needed to teach him. I want to see Sasuke create him being Boruto. I want to see that. I wish we would have got flashbacks. I hope next chapter maybe we get a flashback or two on that. And we just need to know more about Sasuke. Sasuke is a pivotal character. I mean, he's basically was one of the main, if not main, characters of the original series, and he is the sensei of Boruto. So we need to see him. We need to know whether he's alive or dead, and if he's dead, that's a major thing. So, which I have a feeling he might be dead, because if they're not showing us anything about Sasuke, either it's two things: one, like I said, he's dead, or two, he's somewhere there and they're scheming and they're plotting, and they want to save that for an ace of their sleeve where they show up later in the manga, where it'd be like, haha, here's Sasuke. He was planning this all along. He did all this while Boruto was the deceiver, the decoy, if you will. But yeah, the chapter ends with Kawaki showing up, basically being like,
Yo, what the hell are you doing here, Boruto?
and Boruto being like, bro, I ain't got time for you right now. Okay, bro, just my sister's good. All right, cool, cool. But overall, the action in this chapter was really good. I really like the paneling that Ikimoto did. While there are still shots that do feel stiff, and still shots that could, I feel, more dynamic, I feel like now he's letting a little bit more loose with his art, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that the fight feels way more choreographed and way better choreographed than before, and you get the sense that, yeah, they decided to up the ante here for this new Boruto series, because the past Boruto, just regular Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, is just like, it's okay, it's a mid at best, and I may be getting hate for it, but so far Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, this newer version, this post time skip version, I like it way more. The stakes are higher. The characters feel more present. Boruto actually feels like a competent main character without having to pull Momoshiki out of his anal hole as a last resort every single time. Now he just doesn't need Momoshiki, and it's so refreshing and cool to see and nice. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm curious to see where we go from here. Obviously, next month is going to be one curious one to see whether Boruto just goes where the Ten Tails is at, or if him and Kawaki have their first battle, if you will, that leads into their final battle later on. Or I don't know, maybe that final meeting where they're at the Hokages, maybe that happens now. That could be the case too. Maybe we're gonna see that starting now. So I'm curious to see where they take this. I'm curious to see what Masashi Kishimoto and Ikimoto are cooking up. And Yeah, I will catch you guys next month when the next chapter comes out because I'm very curious to see where we go here from here.